wait. That blind is... Oh, yeah, just do that. Because that blind is broken. Welcome to another podcast of Jet Fuel in the Morning. This is our episode 4. And today, I have finally joining in after me, roping her down and twisting her arm, my lovely co-host who will be joining me on most of the podcasts as long as our schedules align. Otherwise, we'll have filler episodes there. But welcome, Rachel Litsky.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm super excited because we've been wanting to do this for like a decade. And
I think we have.
It's like your typical mom life. Like we're all trying to accomplish all these goals, and then you're trying to like, all right, we're gonna do it, and we never do it. And then we're like, you know what? We're actually gonna do it. And so here we are. I'm really blown away. And there's not alcohol in here. So
I know. Well,
it's actually coffee. Right?
This is Jet Fuel in the Morning. It's our
yes.
Fully loaded.
I mean, it could be Kahlua, but
Shh, we will never tell.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to have both. Like you were doing this podcast. I'm like, oh my God, she's doing it. I'm like, why am I not involved? And I'm like, Lindsay. And then life was happening, and then your life happened too, and then you like had this break. And then I'm like, hey, I started doing my YouTube series again. We should put it on YouTube. We should have video of it, and we should do it like normal. And you're like, hey, you should be my co-host. I'm like, oh, you had me at co-host.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's perfect because you have the personality for it too. I mean, two blonde bombshell aviation chicks. I mean, this is like the dynamic
not
duo.
The smartest. No, I'm just kidding. That's not that bad.
Yeah, we are though. We are some sharp cookies.
I will say what's really cool is we ended up pretty much doing something very similar in our careers, except you're doing heavy iron and I'm doing like GA. And it's cool because I get into these things with all the school stuff that I'm doing right now, and I'm like, Lindsay, I have no idea. Like, what's a CFM? Blah blah blah. Like, I don't know what this is. And you're like, oh, it's the data that goes to the blah blah blah. And it's like, damn. So I'm super proud of you.
Well, I'm proud of you because you're self-made. You own your own business. You're really killing it. I mean, you've always been doing well and successful, but I feel like the last couple of years you've really taken off with your company with all of the different things you've designed. Hanger swap, which
I'm still working on it. We're launching like a whole new thing at Sudden Fun, and I had to take a break. What we're going to be talking about today is like egos, and so we were talking the other day about egos and how it's like some of this is based off of trauma, and so like we all go through like our own traumatic experiences, and like the last 5-6 years of my life, it's just been like mind-boggling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it taught me to like really like I had to survive and had to get through it, and just it really came out in my business, which is crazy because I made more money than I've ever made. I almost made it to $1 million in gross sales, which is insane because I never thought I could do that,
And look at you. Well, I think when you're going through situations, it's just like the business owners who start their own business and they get to that point where they decide, I'm taking the leap, I'm jumping in full on. They quit their day job and they just put it all in. So it's like you don't give yourself an option to fail.
And that's basically what it came down to, is there was no option, and you've been in those similar situations, especially like us being single moms so many times. Like it's like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get a break? And then you just realize there are no breaks.
No, I know.
Everything on fire all the time.
I know. I joke because obviously we both work with a lot of men, and I always tease my male, colleagues and say, it must be nice to have a wife and go home to like clean laundry. I have to go home and do the laundry.
Dinner's made, and I'm like, well, what are we having on Uber Eats tonight?
Right? Exactly. I literally have said many, many times, I think I'm going to just get a wife. I'm going to get married and have a wife.
Literally, like my friend Shay and I talked about it, like, when nothing works out, like one day we're just all going to live together. Like we're just going to get all the girls together and we're just going to have our own house, and it's not going to matter, and we're going to just buy a big house. So then we have our own wing, so then we're like, no, I need some space.
And like a pool in between, and we'll just call it like, it'll be the Aviatrix hippie compound.
And it's going to be on an airport.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, would we live anywhere else?
Yes. Okay, so let's back it up.
Yes.
So we're having this put on my YouTube channel. We're going to be putting on your YouTube channel that you're starting up. So mine is Aircraft Salvage Queen. So for all my watchers, this is going to be a regular thing. You'll see another section, another folder of the podcast. And you can also watch it on Apple and on Spotify. Or listen to it on Spotify and on Apple. And so a little background of Lindsey. So when did we meet? Like 13 years ago?
I think it has been that long, yeah.
Aubrey was 3.
Yeah, and she'll be 16 coming up, so yeah.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. And Aubrey works at my salvage company. Like after school, she's in high school. I have 2 high schoolers, 2 girls that come. And I've known her daughter. She was like 4 or 3.
I think she was 3.
She had her little blankie. Yeah. And now Baron is like 4.5, and he's got his little blankie. It's like the same thing. But you joined the flying club.
Yes.
And then we were getting our licenses together, and we were going through all that. Oh my gosh. And we like literally lived on coffee and Panera, like studying and like chair flying and like doing all the things. It was intense.
Oh my gosh. I remember the little postcard you had taped to your mirror in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, so that
spin recovery.
When I'm going to the bathroom, I would practice my spin recovery, reverse murder, light on the controls.
Right. And also, Aubrey would come trekking along with us everywhere. I remember sitting in the FBO.
Ryder, we were doing a video of us doing I was doing stalls.
And Ryder
was in the back seat, like at 2 months old. Like I had just had Ryder or something, like 6 months old or something like that.
Yeah, and he was like in his little car seat just chilling.
Yep, just chilling in the back with his little binky, and I'm doing stalls, and it's like, is Ryder okay? You have no problem.
Yeah, he passed out.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
So
he's got like 40 hours in utero or whatever.
Listen, yeah, he was used to being like sloshed around a little bit.
Yes, yeah. And now, of course, he's naturally addicted to airplanes, and so is Aubrey, so it's like a whole thing.
It's perfect.
So now you work for FEME, and you're the director of operations for recovery and for like the work repair.
Major repairs.
Yeah, major repairs. So it's like big stuff. Like we have big girl jobs.
Yeah, I know. There's a meme somewhere out there. It's like, I messed up and I did really good at my job, and now I want help.
I know,
Mom! Come and get me!
Yes, exactly. So from here on out, we're going to be trying to do most of our episodes together, but we have super busy lives. So like between you traveling all over the place, and then FEME projects, and then your side projects and all the other stuff, and then me and my projects, and my boyfriend and all his flying upside down. Yeah. All his crazy stuff. And then the kids, it's just a lot. So we're going to try to really be consistent with it, which I said I was going to be consistent with my YouTube channel, which it's been very hard to do.
Yes, but now you have me poking you.
Yes.
So I'll be like, come on, let's go. We got to go. We got to shoot another one.
She is the squeaky wheel that gets of grease.
I am. Well, and now, also our other thought, like obviously this one is from the comfort of our living room. So you get to, how do they live? Mm-hmm. How do they really live?
Well, like we're in your living room, not my living room.
Well, but we plan to also take it on the road. Yeah.
So we'll be at the airport, or if we're in different locations and we see someone that we want to interview or whatever, we can do something like that. We can go to air shows.
Definitely.
I would like to incorporate some warbird stuff into there because I've been thrown into that. And so it's like this whole other thing, which I thought about with the whole ego topic. When I'm realizing there's different types of egos in each parts of our industry. And I noticed that like the egos that are like in the warbird industry are different because I feel like we lose more people in warbirds. It's just like a lot harder to...
I think it's more a humble almost.
Yes.
It's like a quiet, calm confidence mixed with some humility.
You have to have it because these airplanes will kill you, and maintenance is crucial. And it's not just like you're getting in like a newer airplane and just going for a flight. or you're not getting on, you know, an Airbus or a Boeing. Like it is different. Like shit goes wrong very quickly. And so, and a lot of times in warbirds, they're performing and they're doing these flights and
that are typically absolutely
Yeah.
hair raising and, you know, flying
Yeah.
all four corners of the envelope.
Yeah.
And
So you have to have that sort of ego, but you also have to be very humble because in an instant, it could all go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Well, let's actually jump into the topic. So today, I mean, like Rachel said, we're talking about egos in the industry, and kind of the thoughts are, you know, what is the ego? How do we deal with them? How do we keep ours in check? And navigating the difficult personalities. And so I guess to start it off, just, you know, what is ego and why is it? I mean, I think it has such a negative connotation in our world. Everyone's like, oh, he's got a big ego.
Yeah.
But at the same time, ego is kind of, it's like our lens and how we see the world. Like it is the thing that either gives you the confidence to boost you into risky situations or making those big decisions.
it's almost part of our survival.
It
so
has to be, right?
So like that book that I was reading, it's Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And it talks about human nature and how everything goes way back to the beginning. And your inner ego is super important to have that. Because if you didn't have an ego, if you didn't have the confidence, some form of ego, you weren't able to go and provide for your family. You weren't going to go out there and kill. Like there's certain types of personalities. And some personalities have a little bit more ego than others. But that's what was like the basis of it. So we have intrinsic ego, so like internal ego, and there's always that we want to like feed. But then what we were talking about yesterday at breakfast is there's boundaries. So there's boundaries on life. And so with egos, there's a boundary. And when we go beyond that boundary, that's where we get into like machoism. That's where we get into where it can really be dangerous. Not just, it can be dangerous in flight. It can be dangerous with maintenance. It can be dangerous in any of it because you're outside that zone, you know?
Well, it's dangerous in even your personal relationships too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when you start making really dumb decisions and disregarding how it affects anyone else.
Right. And so we have to have empathy and compassion that kind of ties into that ego, because your ego can get in the way and kind of really hurting people that you care about. And that is one thing I definitely have learned in the last 5-6 years, is that there are people out there that will go beyond that boundary because of their ego, and they can't allow themselves to be humbled. And what traumatic experiences have taught me is that we're pretty much nothing. Like when it comes down to it, when you strip us of all the things, like all our materialistic things, like I've lost a lot in the last 5-6 years, you know, my airplane, my dirt bike, my car, like material things. And then I didn't have fast there for a while. And like, I was at like rock bottom in my life. And it really taught my inner ego and taught me that we're nothing. Really, we're literally just skin and bones. And what adds to who we are is our heart and our mind and how we treat other people. And if you take your ego and it can have that balance where you help others along with yourself. Like if you want to help someone, it's not to help yourself. You're helping someone else.
Right.
But you also can go do something else that feeds your ego, you know?
Agreed.
You deal with like a lot of, like your industry is very wide and broad when it comes to like jets and big like airliners and stuff. So there's a lot of deep pockets. So with deep pockets often comes big egos.
Right. A lot
Deep
of
egos.
pride. Right.
Yeah. And we have pride
Yeah.
in it too. But like, how do we all coexist together? So how do you navigate like the difficulties of dealing with, I don't want to say it's predominantly, I'm not going to try to be sexist here, but a lot of our industry is male. So you are going to come across more of men. And I will say right now, I prefer to work with men. I have found that women, I'm not a huge fan of them. Like I love, I don't like people.
Women can get.
I hate people. Most people suck.
Well, I mean,
love
that is true. Most people do, but
I found women in our industry to be more egotistical and more just like.
But again, you know what I think that really stems from is the the fear factor of ego. Like their ego is trying to protect them because they know that to make a splash in this industry, they have to actually have a louder voice, or they have to be the presence in the room, or they have to speak louder at the table, you know,
to be heard.
Yes, exactly.
Which can totally come off as like a bitch, or like being obnoxious, or you're too much. But
I've been told that about myself many times.
But what it comes down to is, are we making our numbers? Do we make the money? Does the job get done on time and under budget?
Right.
Yeah. So don't call me that when when shit gets done. And you work with so many people. So,
and I mean, a lot of people, a lot of different people all over the world too. So there's different cultures and language barriers, all that. So yeah, I think it's taught me a lot though. I think really for me, navigating difficult personalities, what I found for me, what works is really listening to someone first. Like, because you'll find if you're both trying to get a word in edgewise, it just heats up the situation, and then egos get even more protective and inflated. But sometimes you have to take a step back and really listen to the person, but then also disarming them a little bit, and by paying them a compliment, like a genuine compliment, or asking them an actual question that you really truly care about and you want to hear the answer about them.
I like to find out more about the person and their personal life and how they are. Like, you know, are they married? Are they, do they have children? Like, more like that. And then I feel like I can really relate to them on their level. And then I can find out how I can help them, because everyone has something going on that they're dealing with. It's just, it's matters of telling people, you know, a lot of people keep their stuff to themselves. So
and naturally,
everyone,
but at the same time.
So they're probably being difficult. They're probably frustrated, you know? And so it's our job to like really diffuse that, you know?
And a lot of times just giving them a safe space to voice it or be heard.
Like, I'm here to help you. Like, if you want me to help you, like, let's talk. And then I'll try to do the best that I can. You know, if I can't help you, I'll try to find someone who can help you.
Exactly. I call those love connections. I'm like, hey, I know someone who can.
Oh my God. I don't know about love connections.
I don't know. That's what I call it. I've had people ask me, hey, do you know where I can get this or that? Yeah. And I'm like, I do.
I literally just asked you about that with one of my school projects. And I was like, I have no clue where to get these parts, but I know you do.
And it is a love connection. So I enjoy helping as well. I think that is one of the ways to diffuse, or like you said, de-escalate a troublesome personality or a sticky personality.
I like to just avoid this situation. I'm like, oh, you have problems.
Goodbye.
I got enough. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to help you unpack that suitcase today because I've got a rollerboard behind me.
Yeah, and you know what? And I got a train over there. If you want to add it over there, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly.
Preferably back in the caboose.
Well, I actually, one of my good friends turned me on to ChatGPT, and it has become like my little robot best friend.
I just can't believe you're this many years old.
Listen,
and you just figured it out.
I am a boomer. Everybody calls me a boomer. I swear.
Are like, I don't know.
It's hilarious.
I don't know how to use my phone. If it wasn't for my boyfriend, I would not know. I'm like, how'd you do that? And he's like, dude, everyone's been doing this for like a decade.
It's so funny because all of my friends are like, you don't know how to like post a reel or this, that. My friends had to teach me how to do everything.
I still can't figure out how to get two different things on the same screen.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
that's
like they have like another
level.
Like yes.
I'm not going there.
I don't know. Or when the people, they watch another thing and they try to like make the, like they're like watching it and they're reacting to it. But when I like tried to figure out, I'm like, you cannot watch the other video and react to it at the same time.
Right.
I don't know.
I know.
I just can't believe you just figured out ChatGPT. I was literally just using it yesterday to diagnose all my problems.
Okay, so
it's amazing.
I talk to it. I'm just like, hey, help me out with my life.
Yes, it writes contracts. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Right? Can you diagnose my emotional distress right now?
You have too many airplane projects. Well, this is stupid. I don't want to read this anymore.
It's so funny. But I asked my lovely lady friend of the AI intelligence.
Did you name her? We should name her Chat GPTs.
I have not gotten that.
If anyone has any ideas for Chat GPTs, please let me know.
I mean, I named
a pinup girl name.
I did name my GPS. I called her Old Bessie. I'm always like, okay, Old Bessie, tell me where to go. But I haven't named this one yet. So she's a lovely robot assistant. And I asked her, how do you all right, we all have the risk, I guess, of getting too big for ourselves. Our egos getting too big. Too inflated.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially when we're really killing it at life, finally.
Yeah.
At long last.
Oh, no. It won't last long. And then all of a sudden, it's going to, smack you back down. You're like, ha! This place looks familiar.
That's true.
It's nice and cold down here.
I don't think it's cold in hell, but...
I'm on the floor, but I guess if we want to go to hell, we can go to Hell Factory direct.
Oh, my God. I'll save you a seat.
They sent me back. They said that was too crazy.
Yeah, right? They're like, nope. But I was asking, what are some tips to kind of keep the ego in check? And I liked these a lot, actually. So the first one was...
What does the robot say? Mr. Robot.
Yeah. Practice self-awareness. Regularly reflecting on your thoughts and actions and really determining, are they driven... what's the motive behind it?
Am I doing this because I want self-gratification, or am I doing this because I really want this person to feel good?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Am I really trying to make a difference here?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. I know I have a huge LinkedIn presence, and I know I've had some nasty grams here and there that I'm just doing.
Don't even get me on Instagram.
Right?
And
well, and and I get that, but really at the heart of me, I also help so many people on a daily basis that are like, hey, I need a job, or I need this.
Yeah,
and
you're like this bleeding heart that if there were all these animals dying on the side of the road, she would save all of them.
Especially if they were puppies.
Oh,
all the dogs.
Well, I would too. Yeah, I would save all the dogs. All the fluffies.
I know.
I would. Yes.
I try to come off like a real bad bitch, but really,
no, you're so soft.
Yeah. You're
yeah.
telling them.
I don't know.
Secrets.
Everyone says I'm a squishy on the inside.
You are. You just don't have as much people to deal with on a day-to-day, so a lot of people don't know that about you. But we do, who know you. So, all right. The next one, embrace feedback.
Oh, feedback's the worst. And actually, you know what? Speaking of feedback, with the YouTube stuff, people just write whatever. And they're like, yeah, and you're so stupid and blah, blah, blah. And it's so frustrating, because I swear to God, one of these days I'm going to compile them all to all you guys that say the horrible things and have your own opinions, which is fine. You can, everyone's got big balls when it comes to the internet.
Well, yeah, because,
But I will have a drink one day, and I will come back and I will roast each and every one.
Yeah.
Because I can be
fun.
Yeah.
Well,
taking feedback is hard.
The constructive criticism, though, and the ill-intended feedback, you have to just disregard that.
Okay, so I know what people say to me, and I've been told this multiple times, but I'm going to ask you, and then I can do the same. But what are some things that people say to you with constructive criticism that is hard for you? What have you heard, and what have you worked on?
So, to be honest with you, all of it is hard, because I feel like I am my own worst critic most of the time, and I'm like, bro, there is nothing you can tell me that
syndrome?
that I haven't already beat myself up. I mispronounced a word on my second podcast episode, and I played that over in my head 30,000 times.
You went to China and back, yes.
Yeah, I was like, why did I say it that way?
God.
So, but I think honestly, I do like having feedback, even if it hurts.
Yeah.
Because it's in the moment, but I like to just not react to it right away.
It's good to hear the feedback. It's when someone's trying to be hurtful. Hurt people, and that's a lot what I think about when I read some of these comments on people.
Then that's not feedback.
That's not feedback. Some things that people tell me is I interrupt, which I know, and I've already done it to you.
I do too.
It's just how I am, and I've been told it, and like I make a very conscious effort to try really hard not to. And it's because I get really excited and I want to relate, and I'm just like total ADD squirrel.
I am too.
And I just like, I'm like, oh, I had that same situation. Let me tell you about it.
I know. I've actually had that same feedback given to me.
So that, and then I can be very critical. So I get shit for this all the time from Scott, but I'm a Capricorn, and I am just I can be just cut straight to your soul. And that's why I say, like, I don't like people, because when I get pushed to a certain point, you know, I'm like a 65-year-old grumpy guy that's like so close to retirement, but I'm not there yet, and I have to deal with all of you people. And I'm just so grumpy, and I get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. I don't want to. I don't need to. Go away. Stay in your lane. Do your thing. You do you. I do me. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
You just get to that point, and I can really just be, I can be critical, especially the ones I love, because it's so easy to be able to do that. So like maybe our egos kind of get into those things, and we're like, oh, we can do this, and I can say this, and like, you know what? Those shoes look stupid. You know, and I'm like, dang, that was hurtful. Like, you know what? They're not that bad, you know, or whatever. Like, I can be very critical.
Well, I mean, you're probably also very critical of yourself. And, you know,
yes.
I mean, if that's the way that you are in general, then you probably do it to yourself.
And I'm an only child. And so, like, I grew up with, you know, my father's in aviation. My grandfather is in aviation. Like, I got big shoes to fill. I'm a girl. And so it was just like, my whole life I'm trying to like be this perfect thing, and 1,000,000% not perfect at all. 0%.
Well, I mean, who is? But sorry, I was just looking for my laptop charger.
We're gonna pause this real quick. Is this light okay?
It has been encroaching on you.
Yeah, I know it's slowly.
So do we want to?
It's working. It's not awful, and it's one of those
how many
things
minutes
that's
are we at?
progressing as you go.
Well, I think we're almost done. Yeah.
Something. It's one of those things that was because the other one's also been like attacking your face slowly. But
I know, and that wait, that blind is. Oh yeah, just do that because that blind is broken. No, it's okay. It's the little latch thing. It's fine.
Oh my God, Lindsay. All right, I broke the blinds.
It's okay. No, actually, the dog did.
Okay, we're here.
All right.
So, what was the third one?
So the third one is cultivate empathy.
Oh, empathy. That is something I really learned with trauma. Like,
that's it. Yeah.
You get so low and you're in the dark hole. Like, I remember when you were in the dark hole. Like,
oh yeah.
It is so. Oh. And you realize
feels
that
like never ending.
Yeah, and you realize that you should have more empathy for like humans. I mean, I hate everyone, but you should really have more human like empathy.
Well, and that's I like that it says cultivate empathy, because I absolutely hate when people are like, you should be empathetic, or I'm an empath, empathy, and they throw it around all the time.
But you are so an empath.
Well, but the thing
You're
is
a crier.
I feel like it isn't just instinctual. I mean, I had trauma my whole life too, right? Yeah. And so you have to actually cultivate it. Like, you have to grow it.
I have to dig deep down, because I can be critical. And so when it comes to empathy and with other people, especially, like, I find myself being critical with my kids, because we all want our best for our kids. Like, and riders, like flying, like starting to learn to fly, and like in my family, cool. Like everyone's got like 99s and 100s on all their like ground school and like all their tests, and I'm just like over here like 78, I passed. You know? So anything over a 70 is passing, and it's like, not in this family.
Oh my
gosh. I'm like,
so
I'm trying to think, like, you know, each person is their own individual person, and so to have empathy for each person in a different way is okay. And sometimes people don't deserve empathy. Let's be real.
I mean, there are some
I'll go to hell and die.
Vile people out there who just enjoy.
And I'm just surprised that they're even
people.
Still alive.
Right?
How? Why haven't you died yet?
those evil people, we just try to remove from our lives and move on.
Yeah.
And be the better people.
So cultivating empathy, that is something, because when your ego is up, when we do great things and we're like, yes, I look so good and I've been working out and like my eyebrows are perfect and, you know, I got all these fillers in my lips and like we're like thinking we're so amazing. We have to like look outside and we have to really dig down deep and like be empathetic towards other people who are not as fortunate and who are struggling, because you know what? You were there too.
Oh yeah. Every time there's one of my favorite bands is the Dirty Heads.
Yeah.
And there's this
we went to a concert together.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the words in one of the songs is, please have a seat at my table because all my friends eat when I eat. And that's kind of my motto. And so no matter what, like no matter how big I get, it's like we're gonna win together. If I'm winning, we're gonna win, and I got your back.
That's how I feel with my business. Like it's not me. Like, yeah, I talk to a lot of people, but like it is nothing without my people. Like my people make more money than I do. Like they are my people. There would be no Fast Aviation without them.
Without your team.
Yeah, and it's like we've become like we always say it's like the Fast family. I mean, you worked for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Long time ago. And
I was an OG. Yeah.
What's F? I don't know. Fast.
Well, in sign language, but
I don't know. A-okay. But really, like, I was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and I run around more now. Like, I have, oh my gosh, like, some of my employees have to go get my groceries, like, go pick them up. But that's what it takes, because we either have a project we have to deliver or whatever. And, like, you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. The last one that my lovely unnamed best friend AI has said. Oh, there's two more, but these two we can wrap up into one. Practicing gratitude and mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, let's talk about meditation.
That's like everything.
So when I getting through my PTSD from my trauma, I ended up doing EMDR therapy. I went for 3 days, and like literally it's brain reprocessing therapy. It's what people with PTSD go through, and I highly recommend it for everyone and anyone, and it changed my life. And I learned about meditation and gratitude and like forgiving people. I had to do this exercise that I had to forgive all these people, and I thought it was so stupid. Like I really did. And like
it always feels that way when you're doing it.
Yeah, and then you're getting into it, and then I'm like actually upset, which I don't cry. Like sometimes I cry, but I don't cry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the darkness. And it was just such a liberating moment to be able to like, it was like you were really letting something go. And when it came down to meditation, so I learned about like when you get overstimulated, like, and especially with EMDR, and it's about going from your right lobe to left lobe, and about like going back and forth and having your brain process traumatic experiences or anything that you go through. And so you're sitting there and you have to really get into it and meditate and feel your breathing and feel like the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingertips to your skin and like all the noises around you. Meditating really helps. Even if it's a moment like in the shower, it really helps like center you. It does. I mean, it seems silly at first, but I went to some with another friend of mine who's also in the aviation industry that we're going to be interviewing. I'm watching you, Erin. She works for the FA.
Oh.
Yeah, she's on the dark side.
Okay.
But I went to my first meditation, like group meditation with her, and it just really changes how you think about yourself. And it helps you move forward with, like, you feel like you can conquer the world. And maybe it elevates your ego a little bit, but it more, like, settles you.
Yeah, but, I mean, the ego isn't all bad. I mean, it probably elevates it to a higher level elevates you, really, in general, to a higher level.
Which makes you be able to do more, accomplish more, and you can help others. Because I always say, and what the trauma and all that stuff really taught me is, on my deathbed, what's going to matter? My airplane's not going to matter. No one's going to give two shits about my airplane, about my YouTube channel, about, like, whether my eyebrows were penciled in perfectly, which I got a new eyebrow pencil, you know.
It looks fabulous.
Yeah, and you got freaking, she's got tattoos over here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Perfect every
I gotta
day.
save time.
So, with that, it's like, I totally lost my train of thought.
We were talking about recentering and the meditation and elevating yourself, and that nobody cares about.
Oh, okay. So on our squirrel. On our deathbed, no one's gonna give a shit about your airplane. Mm-hmm. And and that's something that like I've really learned. No one's gonna care about my dirt bike or my airplane or all the things. What really is gonna matter is the friendships and the memories that I got from my airplane and like my business and those people that I shared my life with.
Yeah.
Like
and
your
the impact
person.
you make on others around you.
Yeah.
And so in that vein, your YouTube will live on in infamy because we're gonna teach everybody and we're gonna enrich them, and then even when we die, it'll live on, and maybe
if it helps one person, like someone might have heard something about the EMDR and they're like, oh man, I struggle with PTSD, I flood, I get the ringing in the ears when I'm in a certain situation. Mm-hmm. I knew someone that was in an aircraft accident and they like legit couldn't get back, even on an airliner, couldn't even get in an airplane again. And they went and did EMDR and they worked on it for a while. Like I did an intensive where it was 3 days full blown. I stayed in a hotel and never left. Like I was really struggling.
In it, yeah.
Yeah. And but they went and did multiple sessions and now they're back to actually flying.
That's amazing.
And it's just because our brain goes down this highway and tells us that danger, danger, danger.
Right. Right. And you have a visceral response to past traumas, even if it has nothing to do with the current situation, but the trigger is real.
Our cognitive goes down and like our IQ goes down, like everything goes down into like fight or flight or flee mode. Mm-hmm. And so if it helps someone, then that's great. And that's what it really comes down to. Like, not to hear ourselves talk and, feel cool about ourselves, but maybe this might help someone.
That was kind of my whole thought in doing this from the beginning was, there's a lot of topics that we just don't talk about or we don't get a chance to talk about.
Our mental health stuff with aviation, it's just like,
right. And
it's the ego. It's the ego, though, when it comes down to it.
But it's also people are afraid of being judged or being considered weak and then losing opportunity because they're labeled as such. Yeah. And so a lot of times we just carry it quietly. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to just make my own platform then. So forget it. I'm not waiting for a platform to share it or open up these discussions. We're just going to make one and we'll be trailblazers.
And we'll make our own table and then we'll sit at our own table.
Exactly.
there's I'm part of like a pilot's mom group and then like the same groups that you're part of, like FAST and all that, all the female groups. And what I did notice is like the postpartum and like how scary it is for these women like to have babies and be an airline pilot. Yeah. I mean, it is a lot easier. It was still a struggle for me, like breastfeeding and like running a business and like losing my mind most of the time.
Yeah,
and like
the emotions.
Yeah, and you want to like take care of your kids and be there and be like, everything's great. And it's totally not. Everything's on fire all the time. And there's another fire over there.
Right.
It's just like, you know what? We're just going to sing Kumbaya and hang out with the fire.
Yeah.
So what I noticed is like postpartum, like a lot of women are going through postpartum depression because we identify with ourselves with like being a pilot and being in this industry, being a trailblazer and doing that. And then when you have a baby, there's something that is like, you have to go and keep this thing alive, like all the time.
It's a pull. Well, yeah, because now it's like, it's this crazy demand. You have a dual mandate on your life.
I'm going to just be honest. I felt less than of a person.
Yeah.
Like, I define myself as a businesswoman and a mom and someone that can get the laundry done and order Uber Eats and maybe make 3 meals a week.
Exactly.
But, like, I pride myself in those things. And then all of a sudden, I don't have them. It's okay that I stay home? No, it's not okay. Like,
Right.
And you just feel this guilt, and I see, like, you can't talk about this stuff. You can't go renew your medical and then say that you had postpartum. We don't talk about that.
Right.
You can't talk about that because they will pull your medical because they think you're crazy when really, hey, I just had a baby. I, like, gave life and, like, made brains and eyeballs. What the hell are you doing? I can still fly a damn airplane, and actually I feel I'm more confident, and I feel that I'm more qualified to fly an airplane because I can keep one person alive that came out of my body.
Well, not only that, but also it's it gives you a heightened sense of safety. Like,
yes,
now
you are like,
stressing.
we are like ninja moms. Like,
Yeah.
crazy. You see those videos of dads and moms and how they do these crazy ninja moves and like pick up cars and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think I could fly an airplane 10 times more after having a baby. And actually, I
Parenthood.
did.
It does it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It changes.
So really, we should be like, oh,
That's-
you had a baby? Pff, hired.
That's going to be a whole episode, too. We're going to talk about that.
Parents, and it's not just moms,
Yeah,
it's
no.
dads too, because they don't
Single
get to leave
dads
work.
Or, yeah.
They have no paternity
We'll
leave.
do that
It's-
whole thing. We're going to
It's a
really
thing.
dive in because that is a deep well
I
in which
will
to dive.
go deep into it, and bring in all the mommies
Well, to wrap
and
up,
daddies.
to wrap up this episode, do you have any
We're supposed
closing?
to be talking about ego.
Well, we did.
We talked a lot of ego.
But what do you have any closing thoughts?
Your chat GPT needs a name.
Yep, got it. That is on my to-do list.
I think my number one takeaway from like the whole ego discussion is and maybe it's just my 65-year-old grumpy self. We're just like nothing. We are really nothing when it comes down to it. And I want everyone to know that like you are no better than the next person. Like I'm like, I can't stand like all the Instagram stuff that's going on, and like everyone just like, it's so hurtful and it makes other people feel like crap. Like, you're not that cool. You're just not, because what really matters is your family and your friends and happiness at the end of the day. And so your egos, like I feel like our egos need to really take it down a notch in the aviation industry, honestly.
Well, or maybe it's a balance, right? So yes, I agree. I think everybody needs to practice these 5 steps to really recenter themselves. And yeah, it's awesome to be proud of what you do, and it's awesome that we have so much pride in aviation.
We're
But
so
don't
privileged
trample.
in that way. Yeah,
Don't
and I just
trample
feel like
on
we're so
others
damn lucky
to elevate yourself. Really,
Yeah.
I think is it.
Yeah. It's a whole be kind to others.
She
So
says
I gotta be
begrudgingly.
nice. All right, fine. I'll be nice.
Well, awesome. Thanks, Rachel, for coming and being my co-host.
Yeah, I gotta go to work.
We're gonna have so much
Some
fun.
of us have to work for a living, Lindsay.
And
All right,
I can't
cool.
wait till next time. So you have to come up with now your tagline to sign out. I always say blue skies and tailwinds, and now that's your homework.
Way to put me on the spot.
Well, you don't have to have it right now. You can just say
Don't
goodbye.
fuck it up.
But next time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like thinking like, what do I say on mine? I don't even think I say goodbye.
Over and out.
I'm like that Irish goodbye or whatever. Do you know how much time you save on an Irish goodbye?
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
I'm totally fine with it. I mean, I'm German and Scottish. But, like, I'll still just be like, Auf Wiedersehen. I'll figure something out. Maybe you guys can come up with something. They'll tell me stupid stuff.
We'll get your tagline, and I'll name my robot.
Okay. All right.
So until
Till
next
next
time.
Yeah. You do your thing.
Well, I already said it.
Oh, okay. All
Blue
right.
skies and tailwinds, my
Auf
friend.
Wiedersehen.
All right, bye.
Where's the vodka? No, I'm just kidding.
In the kitchen.
It's Tito's, right?
Cheers.
Cheers.